this lesson, we're going to identify the vertical asymptote of rational functions. Identifying vertical asymptotes. Now, the vertical asymptote are the values that are not in the domain of the function. In other words, they are the zeros of the denominator. So to find the vertical asymptote, all you have to do is take the denominator, set it equal to 0, and solve for x, and that will identify the values that are restricted from the domain of that rational function, because it is there where your vertical asymptotes will occur. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take our denominator of x plus 6 and set it equal to 0. All we have to do here is simply subtract 6 from each side, and x equals negative 6. So therefore, that is where the asymptote line is going to occur at x equals negative 6, because that value is restricted from the domain of this rational function. Okay, so in this next example, we're asked to find the vertical asymptote. So recall, to find the vertical asymptote, all we have to do is take the denominator and set it equal to 0 so that we can solve for x. And in this way, we will identify the values that are not in the domain of the function. So what is the first step we need to do to solve for x here? That's correct. Subtract 1. And then, yes, divide by negative 8. So a negative divided by a negative is going to equal 1/8. And so the vertical asymptote, that line is going to be at x equals 1/8. In this example, we're asked to find the vertical asymptote of this rational function. So all we need to do is to take the denominator and set it equal to 0 so that we can solve for x and identify the values that are not in the domain of this rational function. So we're going to go ahead and factor the bottom, the trinomial there, and it factors into x plus 2 times x minus 3. And now once we solve for x, we'll see that x will equal negative 2 and 3. So in this particular rational function, we're going to have an asymptote located at x equals negative 2 and at x equals 3. Okay, now it's your turn. I want you to see if you can find the vertical asymptotes of the given rational function without using your graphing calculator. So pause the video and go ahead and work on it, and when you're ready to reveal the answer, restart the video. Okay, so let's see how you did. So the bottom is a trinomial, which we need to factor that into two binomials so that we will be able to identify the values that are excluded from the domain of this rational function. And recall, to do that, you have to take the denominator, set it equal to 0, and solve for x. Okay, so finding the vertical asymptote has nothing to do with the numerator. You're just going to simply take the denominator, set it equal to 0, and solve for x. Whatever those values of x equal, they will represent your vertical asymptotes. So we're going to go ahead and factor this. It factors into the two numbers that give us the last number of 35. That would be 5 times 7. And at the same time, those two numbers, if we were to add them together, that they equal 12, our middle term. So that is the correct pair of numbers that we were looking for. So that's going to be x plus 5 and x plus 7. And now all we need to do is to go ahead and solve these for x. So the first one, actually let me change the color there. Solving the first one for x, we would need to subtract 5 from each side, and x will equal negative 5. On the other one, we're going to subtract 7 from each side, and x equals -7. So this is where our vertical asymptote is going to occur. We're going to have a line passing through the x-axis at -5, and then we're also going to have a line passing through the x-axis at -7. So that would be choice D. Okay, so how did you do? All right, good job.
Okay, that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching MVP Tutorials by your instructor, Dr. Speights. I hope you'll join me in the next lesson. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye for now.